Hey guys, good to have you with me. I'm DM Scotty, as you know, and welcome to DM's Craft Short Tip. This time I'm going to show you how to craft a quick and easy assassin vine. So it's kind of a combination between a figure and a template. So I thought that'd be fun to show, and let's go to the table and craft it. So with this project, I'm not starting completely from scratch, but I'm going to pick up on techniques that I've shown you how to do earlier. This is just a piece of cardstock that I've cut in a circular piece. Now what I did was I just used a CD and traced around it, but I did a little bit irregular around the edge so it just didn't look like a circle. So what I did with this is I did the root pattern on it. So I'll give you a little closer look there so you can see that root pattern. So I did the root pattern on it, and it's pretty dense on this, more dense than I usually do, because I wanted to have it concentrated. So what I did is I did the root pattern, and then I went over it again with some more root, after that dried, with some more roots on top of the other roots, so it gave kind of a dimensional feel to it. And after I did that, I sprayed it with the dirt texture paint, so it looks like it's on the ground. And so we'll pick up from here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out the vine from the ground, and what I'm going to use two paints, two green paints, a dark green and a lighter green. It doesn't really matter which ones you use. I'm using a forest green for my dark. So what will happen is, why you should do this is, people may say, well, it just seems like a waste of time to do the two colors. It's not really, because you should do at least two colors, because that really gives a dimension to the object, so I would recommend that. And you can really see it if you don't do this kind of thing. It'll really pop out as subpar. Just this little extra step will just make it look so much better. So I'm going to use this little chiseled brush here, and this is kind of a bristly brush. So I'll grab my dark green, and I'm just going to start kind of following the roots. Now you're not going to be able to see this very well because it's fairly dark. And it's okay if a little bit gets on the ground. In fact, you should put a little bit on the ground to get it on the roots. So this will give the roots a nice base green that the lighter green can kind of pop out from. So I feel I've sufficiently got the dark green on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and then I'm going to put the lighter green on. So there you can kind of see it, but it's very dark, so you can barely differentiate it from the ground itself. So let that dry for a sec, and then we'll come back and we'll do the next coat. Now we're going to apply our lighter green. So I'll get my same brush, and then I'll grab some of that. You can really see that pop. Always remember though that this generally paints will dry darker than they first apply. So they'll seem a little lighter, and then they'll get more subdued as they dry. And I'm not worrying about if I get a little bit of that on the ground. That's okay. Make sure you get all the tendrils. Get some on the outside there. Okay, give you a peek at that. So see, look how that really popped out there. Like I say, it'll dry a little bit darker than it appears here now, but it'll look great. So now what we're going to do is we got the base finished, and you could leave it that way, but I'm going to take it up a notch and add some really cool technique to this. So we'll go to that next. So you might wonder why I have a plastic flower sitting here. Well, I bought this for a couple bucks at the big box store. But what I really liked is I liked the spindly branches of this flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop one of these off, and then see it's got the flowers. But then I'm going to pop those flowers off of it. So now take a look how nice that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a couple more. So I'll grab another one and then just pop the flowers off also. I'm going to see if I can find a little different one here. This one looks a little different, so I think there's a couple different kinds on the plant. So grab that one and pop those flowers off. So now I got the a nice starting point for my tendrils that will be coming up from the assassin vine. Got my base sitting here as kind of a reference for some placement. So I could just pop these on, but see how far off the template that goes. I really don't want it to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it close here, up here, but I'm going to cut it at an angle so that I can kind of have it pop up a little bit from the base. Okay, now I could even use this piece that I cut off, and I'll just cut it at an angle also. So see if you can see that angle there. Okay, so now I got this piece. I'll cut that one at an angle. I've got this. So what I'll do is cut that. Another angle. Okay, so I got my pieces and I got my base. I'm gonna move in a little closer so you can see what I'm doing here. Here we go, and I've got my trusty glue gun here. Now be careful when you're gluing. You don't want to leave the glue gun on too long in a space, because you could actually melt some of the tendrils you've already got on the base. So what I'll do is I'll put a little dab there. Grab my tendril. And hold it for a few seconds. Okay. See, look how that's coming up, popping off there. Okay, that little string off. Now I'll just continue around the base here. And I'm radiating these out from the center. Need to hold it down for a sec. You can use a scissors. So here we go. So take a look how cool that is. Now you can see I've got a few strings still attached from the glue gun. So what I'll do is I'll get the strings off, and then I'm going to do a little touch-up paint, and we'll be finished. Here comes the adventurer. Doesn't make his perception check. Ah! Gets attacked by the assassin vine. But seriously, there's the base. I like to represent him this way because the assassin vine usually has quite a reach. So it's a good way to just show if the assassin vine has grabbed somebody is if they get on the base. And these extra tendrils just really give it that 3D feel. Also, a figure, when they're on this, they can really get up in there without any kind of problem because these tendrils are so flexible that it doesn't cause the models any grief getting in there. So yeah, that's great. Also, if you want to have the thing move, remember that you would measure from one edge. So if you wanted to move over towards this adventurer, and he can move a couple, unfortunately I don't have my measuring stick right here, but if I want to move over toward the adventurer, I'd measure from here out. So some people get confused with the large size of the base, like where do you measure from? Just measure from this edge to where it goes. So if it's, that'd be an inch, that'd be an inch, that'd be another inch, and so then he'd be caught. So you just measure from edge to how far you want to go out instead of trying to, from the center of the base or whatever. It's easiest just to measure from the edge. But there we go. I think it looks really great. Just really practical and easy. You can make a bunch of these. Also, one thing you want to remember is you don't want to just plop this down when your adventurers come into the area because, of course, they're not going to get near it. It's a danger. So what you do is these things are very hard to see. So what you could have is just have this out, pick it up and have it out of the area. And then if an adventurer either just bumbles into it or if they see it at a certain distance, depending on how thick the foliage is or how thick the brush is, you could determine, what distance they might see it. So if they see it, then you could plop it down there like, whoa, and then that's an area not only do they have to avoid in the battle, but it also may move around after somebody that's within range. So it's a nice little hazard to have on the table. And as you can see, pretty easily represented this way. Quick and easy. So there you go. That's some assassin vines, and I'll see you next time for a short tip.